Mark Hoppus, and we're so excited to have the founding member of one of the greatest pop-punk bands of all time, Blink-182. And Mark has now written a memoir called Fahrenheit 182, or 182.
182.
182, okay.
Yeah, okay.
Makes sense. And Mark, it's so good to have you here. Thank you for being here. This is a real thrill for me. I grew up on your music and still love it to this day. And
thank you very
so
much.
many people did. So welcome, Mark Hoppus, to Times Square.
Yeah! Give it up for me.
Give it up for you. The book takes us from the skate park where you grew up and sort of came of age into building Blink-182 and then beyond through so much of your life. What was it like to write it and what's it like to have it out in the world?
It's so great having it out. It was very cathartic to write it. It was very healing. I started writing when I was sick. I was diagnosed with cancer, and my therapist said you should write this whole experience just for yourself, just to get your thoughts out. Not for anybody to read, but just for you to have. And I felt like it really helped me during my treatment, and I kept writing. And afterwards, my manager was like, you should write about the band. And so then I was like, I want to write about the experience of being in Blink-182 and how joyous it is, and the highs and the lows, and how lucky we are. So then I just kept writing. And now there's a memoir out 3 years later, and so excited.
Did you think when your therapist said, oh, you should write this all down, in the middle of this, like, couldn't have been an easy moment in your life going through cancer, that it was going to turn into this book one day?
No, because what I was writing when I was sick was so dark and so depressed and difficult. But I felt like it was good to get it out. And so I was like, well, I want to get it all out and put it all out there. And, you know, my favorite band is Blink-182, and my favorite songwriters are Tom and Travis. And so I just wanted to spread the joy and the love.
And you've written about dark times before. I mean, Adam's song, that was one of my favorite songs in middle school. Yeah, but that you wrote about a dark time then, so now you've done it again in your book. And even with the band's dynamics, you didn't shy away from some of the tough times that you guys have gone through with breakups and all of that. And you said writing a lot of that and giving perspective to other people, it was therapeutic for you and
Definitely.
Also healing. How was that?
Well, in the book, I didn't, and on this side of being sick and this part of my life, there's no demons. Like, I didn't want to, like, I didn't have any axe to grind or grudges to settle or anything like that. And so when I would write about situations in our band that were difficult, arguments that we had, breakups that we had, I would try and write how I felt, but I would also try and write how other people felt. And so getting that perspective and making myself think, like, well, what was really happening at this point? Why were we fighting and why was this happening? Really helped me see other people's points of views.
Yeah, getting a full story is always important there. Let's talk about your son, Jack, 22 years old.
22.
Does he listen to your music?
He does. He comes to the shows, and he grew up touring. Like, you know, when he was 6 months old, he was on the road with Blink and No Doubt. And he grew up around venues and touring. And then when he started school, we always asked him, do you want to come out on tour? And he's like, no, I want to stay with my friends and, go to school. So, yeah, Jack's great. He's 22 now, and he's a video game designer.
Nice. Wow. And has he always thought his dad was cool? You know, some parents think some kids think their parents are not cool, especially middle school, high school.
For years and years, my son didn't think I was cool. And in fact, I remember we were driving in the car one day. He was a little kid. He was in the car seat behind, and we're listening to the radio, and Blink-182 comes on. And I turn around all proud, like, pretty cool, your dad's on the radio, huh? And he goes, yeah, but you're not my top three.
Oh!
Wow. And he was a little kid. Yeah. And I said, who are your top three? And he said, Silver Sun Pickups, Metric, and Vampire Weekend. And I was like, okay, I get it.
What do we need to I know all those guys.
Yeah.
We're better. And we're at the forefront of the genre, so
I know.
you better learn.
But he had great taste in music even as a little kid.
Well, I mean, and you guys have made great music for so long, for decades now, and your fans have grown up with you and stuck with you. You've really had a renaissance in recent years with Blink. You've been Coachella and Lollapalooza. I mentioned you, I saw you at Madison Square Garden. You were doing this arena tour, the stadium tour. What is it like to evolve from a band that is counterculture and like the definition of punk and sticking it to the man to then being rewarded by the system for all your success? And
it's so awesome. Like when we played, it's great. When we played Coachella, and we're playing Coachella, and there are people there that hadn't even been born when we started our band, and they're singing every single word. To have like Blink-182 become this multi-generational thing where people are going to their first shows and it's Blink-182 in the 2020s, what more could you ask for?
Yeah.
Wow. How is the relationship between the three of you? I mean, obviously it's great, but when you guys get back together, does it feel like being with, I mean, just like childhood friends? Is it just fun and wild? What's it like?
I don't really feel 100% like myself until I'm around Travis and Tom.
Really?
Yeah, and that's where I really feel at home, and that's where I feel like, you know, all the jokes that we say and the music that we make together and the shorthand that we have after being in this band for this long, musically and as people, like when I'm on stage and Tom's right there and Travis is behind us, it's just the best.
I looked to see if they were here.
When you said, look, Tom's right there.
Come on out, you guys.
I'm curious, what's next?
Next, we are just right now announcing a bunch of shows. You can go to Blink-182.com and check out new shows. We're talking about recording our next album. Things are great right now. We want to keep doing what we've always done and write new music and tour and do it.
Awesome. Well, Mark, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for writing this book. Thank you for sharing yourself with us for a few minutes and the band for so long. We're grateful to have you. Everyone check out the book. It's Fahrenheit 182. It is available now.